In the hack and slash title Astral Chain, you operate as a police officer who's part of the squad named Neuron, a unit whose main purpose is to apprehend the Chimeras. They've been dragging humans into their universe via dimensional gates and causing havoc that's been tearing apart the human race. The game takes place in a setting with advanced technology present everywhere. I especially love the overworld as it has just enough depth to feel authentic, plus electronic house music that made me feel at home as I explored. Now that I think about it, the OST is really good in general. Furthermore, you can customize your character and legions with parts you find as you level up. I spent a lot of time in the locker room making sure I was the best looking officer on the block. Since you're a part of the Neurons, forensic analysis is to be expected. I like what they did with the iris scanning feature as it provides more insight into cases in the world around you. There's a lot to admire here when it comes to the overall scientific atmosphere, and Astral Chain more than excels in that area. The most important element of Astral Chain is your legion. While in battle, you manually activate your legion, and when they're within the enemy's vicinity, they'll automatically attack. You can't have your legion out for too long because when your gauge reaches 0, you won't be able to send them back out until it refills to 100. The concept of legions are great, and I love the designs and exclusive attributes they each have in the overworld, like the arm's hover ability and the beast's scent tracking. However, I have mixed feelings on the actual battle gameplay. There are a lot of cool legion skills you can pick up through the upgrade system, and you can switch between different legion types mid-battle. The controls are weird with lots of button combinations, and although I eventually adapted to them, a lot of the time I just resorted to the standard attack as I didn't feel there were good enough incentives to go for the more advanced options. The game hands you healing items like candies, killing chimeras restores all of your health, and you have 2 lives even on the standard difficulty. You don't have to really consider the consequences of what you do because there are no real stakes on the line. Why should I think about what I'm pressing if I have multiple revives and get healed every 3 seconds? The harder difficulties are unlocked after you beat a level on standard, but why should I have to replay the same lengthy mission to get my desired experience? Shouldn't hard mode be available from the start? If anything, Astral Chain's combat has depth, but the design of the enemies and layout of the game render it futile. The hordes of enemies are so brain dead that all you need to do is mash. The bosses telegraph everything they do so they're easy to outplay, and if you do get hit, so what? You have at least 20 of your own healing items plus field healing items that the game hands you, plus at least 2 revives that you can restock on adding to your count. What's the point of giving the combat mechanics depth if you're gonna make the game so easy? This is probably just me, but I also felt the visuals during battle were too much. The amount of effects killed me, and the frame drops don't help either. Everything is just so jarring to look at, and I couldn't take it. I'm fond of the technological setting of the game, but navigating the menus is a challenge in itself. I mean, just look at it, I have no idea what I'm doing. Astral Chain's obsession with visual effects and the complexity of the user interface boggled my mind throughout the entire experience. In a nutshell, your job is to find out why the Chimeras are invading, stop them, and restore peace to mankind. What you do from early to mid-game is as follows. You go to an area, ask citizens questions about the case, fight Chimeras, go to the astral plane, fight more Chimeras, rescue someone trapped there, rinse and repeat. I hate to say it, but I just couldn't get invested as the game is plagued with repetitious missions, generally bland cast of characters, and bad pacing. When it comes to characters, the whole brother-sister dynamic with Akira was doomed from the start because I'm a silent protagonist. How am I supposed to connect with Akira when my character doesn't show any form of emotion towards her at all? The relationship had no real substance to make me feel for them, and subsequently, how am I supposed to connect with Akira who's stubborn and annoying? Max is forgettable because he's a poorly developed father figure who exists for like, what, 5 seconds? Alicia is just there, Yosef has a dull personality, Olive and Brenda's dynamics aren't fleshed out, and Jen gets no screen time. Even Jenna Anderson, a major antagonist, is wasted potential as she is not developed at all and by extension fails to have any sort of impact on the player. The story doesn't pick up until Case 9, which is about 75% in, and I felt like it could have been much more emotional if the characters had actual depth. It's a shame because I really wanted to like the cast, but the game doesn't give me any reasons to. However, one character did appeal to me, and that was Marie Wentz because of her goofiness. Sadly, she's a benched side character with no relevancy to the actual main story, but that one side quest where you take up the role of Lappy the dog was funny as hell. Don't get me wrong, I don't think Astral Chain is a bad game. We can all agree that the soundtrack is a work of art and that the emphasis on forensic analysis was an amazing touch. Character customization is always nice, and I love that there are so many options when it comes to aesthetic choices. Astral Chain experiments with unique concepts in the legions, and I felt that their uses in the overworld were neat. Although there are a multitude of skills and mechanics at your disposal, the innately flawed design of the game encourages mashing as there are no real incentives to switch up your play. Some may feel that the game is visually beautiful, but I just can't agree. I feel they overdid it with the flair, which, combined with the complicated design of the menus, negatively impacted my experience. The story is average at best, and a lot of potential was wasted when it comes to character and narrative development. The problems with the game exceeded the amount of things that I admired, and it pains me to say that because I really like the ideas this game presented. The overall execution sadly falls flat, creating an experience defined by being mediocre at best. Thanks for sticking through until the end, and have a good day, my friends. Stay safe.